Good evening, welcome to the Simufur GT4 Championship. Round 1 tonight we enter Zolder. I'll start that again because it sort of blips a bit. Hello and welcome to the GT4 Simufur's live commentary for the night. I'm Dog of Snow. I'll be with you for the whole event tonight, and we are looking forward to having an exciting start to the season. Whilst we can hear the cars going on in the background, we are on the non-official practice at the moment, whilst we take some time to just have a look into Zolder. You can see the drivers on the grids now. Just whilst we'll go back to our drivers in just a few moments now. I think I've set the right camera. Anyway, welcome to the pit wall of the Zolder track. It is a bright and beautiful day in the free practice. Moving on to free practice 2 shortly afterwards. Lots of brightly coloured cars this season. You can see Lunatic, a brand new racer with us on the series there as we head down the pit wall now. Quite a few of the people out on the track at the moment. We have Zar there, a very colourful Porsche. Quite a few Porsches with us tonight. Let's go back this way. I think most of the drivers are this way now, so I'll just speed that up a bit. Back by demand is Kai Lazuli, driving another Porsche. It seems, as we've said, the Porsches have gained quite a popular appeal among cars. Oh, just 1 second there. Pushed the wrong button. Anyway. And another new racing driver driving the Ginetta tonight is Blaze Pine. So, we have about 20 minutes until this server goes down, which will take a short break whilst we go to the practice. But let's just take a look at Zolder from the start-finish straight. So here we are then, start-finish straight, of course, is here, the pit entrance. Speed up a little bit. So pit entrance to Zolder. It's quite a deep one. If you get it wrong, you'll be going into the pits with even more on it than just a tyre change. So anyway, we come round the pits, which connects onto the start-finish straight now. And you can see here, we go all the way up. It's quite a long straight, heading into turn 1. You can see Blade Wolf there, another GT4 competitor tonight, and followed by a Zurgo. So this first corner is definitely make or break for your lap. It's a definite hard corner. It's definitely off camber, as some of the drivers have reported back to us, and it's difficult to determine whether or not you get it right. If you get it wrong, it could break your lap. If you get it right, it could add so much time on. Another car coming round now. There's Lunatic. You can see there, they've just managed to hold on. If you go across that green mark there, you've lost your lap. So moving down to turns 2 and 3. This one's another tricky turn to get. You have to get your braking right here, and your gas, and your lifting, and your braking. I've said braking already. Have another couple of cars coming round now. You can see how they do it. And then you can run wide onto this bit to get the maximum attack on turn 3 here. Which you can, if you get it right, you can go full pelt through the track, through this turn, excuse me, and then onto turn 4. So again, another one, quite a hard right-hand turn, this one. You can see there, if you get it right, and you get a good exit down towards the first of 2 chicanes on this map. So it's quite a long run down to the first chicane, but then you're hard on the brakes. Hard on the brakes to hit this chicane. If you get it right, it goes very right. If you get it wrong and you cross these sausage carbs, that is your lap gone. See how Blade does it here. There you go. A little bit of a bounce there. So he'll be trying to get his lap back. And Whoosh will go through together. Whoosh, you can see, got a better exit of that corner. Anyway. Again, a bit of a long run down to the corner here. Cars sometimes getting up to about gear 5 before coming to this hard chicane. This is another very hard chicane. From what I see on the map, we've got Lunatic coming up towards it any minute now. This one is definitely a gear 1 or 2 corner, depending on the car. Requires a lot of skill going through it. Here we go. And then out the exit there. Who have we got here? We've got Scani going through and then Aston Martin. Their signature black and red Aston Martin as they come through the corner. So exit of the corner can be good as long as you get this bit of it right. Got another car coming through now. Let's see how they do. Oh, a little bit of a bump on that first apex as they go through. ZZ there in the really nice blue coloured Camaro. This corner can be either a lift or a flat out corner depending on how you've come out of that last chicane just there. Should have another car coming through any minute now. There's Avalanche there in a Mercedes-Benz. Oh, followed by Zar in this Porsche. We'll get a closer look up of the drivers a little bit later on. Anyway, coming down to now a hairpin. You can get through. I've found on racing on this track, you can get through the hairpin purely by lifting and coasting, provided you brake at the right point. We've got Azure going through there in his McLaren, followed by Adam. And then through a little chicane, which you can go flat out through. Down here. This corner, which again, another sort of hard chicane. Depends how you get the entrance to it, really. Again, if you get it wrong, you catch these sausage carbs on the inside and the outside. And it can be, again, it can make or break your lap. Might possibly have a car coming down to it now. I think, if I've seen the map correctly, we do have Lunatic coming down. So we'll watch how Lunatic does it. So quite smooth through that corner there. Got Blade and Scani following one another through the corner. You can see they get quite close to the car without touching it. But then you come on to the start-finish straight. And of course, back into the pit lane should you choose to. I'm wondering if we'll see any pit stop practice. There's no real set pit stops for these races, so unless the drivers take damage, they shouldn't necessarily have to come into the pits. And anyway, that brings us back after a lap. Driver that's just joined for practice now in the bright orange and white Ginetta is Bracken. It's going to go close up. I'm going to get a close up on everybody's car now. So we can see here Bracken, car number 95, the Ginetta, is actually getting ready to go out on a lap now. Very cool coloured car, I believe, making a debut, not a debut, making a shout out to RK9 Motorsports, which is also driven by Zara there in the blue Monster Energy Porsche. You'll see them go out in just a few moments probably. Zara's been out on a practice, so they may stay put for now, but Bracken looks set to go out. Got another closer look there. Monster Energy Porsche there, number 46, VR46. That can only be a tribute to Valentino Rossi, one of the greatest MotoGP racers alive today. Shout out to Valentino Rossi, and great livery on that car. We'll move a little bit further down the field. Got Ant now in a purple and black Aston Martin. Racing under his own team, Purple Wolf Motorsport there. Nice custom livery you've got going on. Car number 24. And some fantastic stickers alongside that as well. Brilliant. So we move on next to number 271, very well known number used by the Azzurri in all the races they've attended. Nice satin green Porsche here, with a nice black hood to it, and black trim colours. Very nice indeed. It breaks up the green really well, so you don't have an all green car. It means you can actually see more of it as well as it races past. I don't have anyone else in the pits at the moment, but that's because everybody is quite ready and willing to be practicing for tonight's race. Tonight's race will consist of a short 10-minute practice session. Believe it is then going into a 20-minute qualifying session, followed by a 20-minute race. Then there'll be another 20-minute qualifying session, followed by the second 20-minute race of the night, and then we'll come to an end. So this is a sprint series. It's not like the GT3 series we held, where it was 1-hour races, giving the drivers a chance to put as little fuel in the car as they think possible, and to go as fast as they physically can possible whilst racing for position. We're in for 6 fantastic rounds of the GT4 Championship for Simufur. I have another car coming into the pits now. We've got Azure number 765. Can't remember why they took 765, but they were previously on 14, and I'm told that they switched from the number 14 because that was in fact Fernando Alonso's number, and they didn't feel that they were anywhere near good enough as Fernando Alonso, so they decided to change their number. They bring in their own custom livery now, Goat Dynamics Racing. You can see their own little title there and stuff, and also the little Goat Wolf Dynamics symbol there, which of course sometimes he may race with Wushel, who's also out on the track in a pink and white Porsche. Car number 69, currently holding P1 on this practice server, with Lunatic, excuse me, holding P2. But of course this is just free practice, it could all change around as we watch Blade Wolf in the blue and silver Aston Martin going round there. Though 12 drivers so far, we are expecting 15. Practice server will go live in about 15 minutes, of which there will be 10 minutes of practice. And of course that 10 minutes of practice will not be commented on, because you might as well just sit back, relax and watch the show, to be honest. Okay, so slight change there. Free practice when it comes out will be 20 minutes long, followed by 7 minutes quali, followed by 20 minutes race, followed by another 7 minutes quali, followed by a 20-minute race. And that's going to be how it will be for all 6 rounds of the GT4 World Championship. World Championship? Why not World Championship? Let's see if we've got any more guests in the pits there. Nope, still waiting. Still 3 sat in the pits, quite happily to do so as well, waiting for the either the practice server to go live or doing a final few touches to the setup. You can see Lunatic there just in the distance, who's in P2. Where are we going to go? We're going to go up to... That's not the most amazing view, is it? So we'll go up here. We'll sit on top, on the roof. Just stare down at the start-finish straight. Or the first corner. Or we'll just sit on the first corner. Actually, pit exit here, you can... Obviously, I covered the pit entrance and the start-finish straight. Pit exit here is as soon as you go over the line, you can immediately full throttle it if you so desire. And come around this corner and then follow the pit exit round to be brought right out onto the racing line. Drivers, of course, coming out the pits and on track will need to be careful should the pit lane be used in the race. Oh, little bit of a wiggle there from ZZ, is followed very closely by Pine and the Janetta. Oh, sorry, I'm getting into the commentary already. I'm not supposed to be commenting. Goodness. We'll sit on trackside then. You can see the detailed marbles of the track. Anyway. Hello to all viewers. Let us know you're watching. Let us know who you are bidding for tonight in the race. Just take another walk down the pits. We do have, in fact, 2 more racers that have come home to sit down for a bit. We have Avalanche, car number 84, in a very nice painted matte black and yellow Mercedes AMG GT4. I believe they're using one of the in-game liveries there, of one of the sports, probably ERC, I can imagine there. Very cool coloured car indeed. And as far as I'm aware, the only Mercedes to be taking part in this championship. Come by slowly to Azure's Goat Wolf McLaren again. Azure absolutely swears by the McLaren. Oh, Azure absolutely swears by the McLaren and says it's one of the best cars he's driven. But hopefully it brings him luck tonight as he chases Blake Wolf down for the Silver Championship in GT4. Here we have Andrew seen on track there in his purple and black Aston Martin. Then we have Luna in a very nice green Porsche. They're out to do a lap now. ZZ's going by us in a blue Camaro. Big old car that is very fast as well. And yet we still have Zar, who's sat a little bit far in the pit lane now. In the blue and black Monster Energy Porsche. We'll go back down to the corner and sit for a bit. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen in the race, guys. Just over 5 minutes to go now before we head to the official practice. Ah, there's another car in the pits. We've seen him on track. And they're now sat in the pits, probably doing some more prep work. Blade Wolf. Car number 142. Used to be car number 42 until someone stole it from him. So decided to go with number 142. Very nice blue and silver Aston Martin GT4 we've got there. Car is definitely said to be Blade's best friend. He loves the Aston Martin, can't get enough of it. Another avid Aston Martin user who's now sat in the pits long enough that we can go and see them is Scani in a nice apple red and black Aston Martin. Apple red and black is very traditional for Scani. He was racing it, they were racing it in the GT3 Championship that finished not only a week ago. Not quite seen everyone yet. We've still got Blaze out on track. We've still got Wushel out on track. Is this coming by? Ah, speak of the devil, it's Wushel in the 69 Porsche. Let's have a look at Wushel. So, whilst we're here, we'll go over who's in what class. So there's 3 classes running tonight for Simufur GT4. You've got Pro, Silver and AM. So in Pro we have Car Zero Snooty McFlude in the Alpine A110 GT4. Fez Fox will be in the McLaren 57S GT4. Aston Martin is driven by Blade Wolf and Scani. That is your 4 pro drivers today. Just adjusting my microphone now. Tell me if you can hear me properly. As I go through the silver drivers, there's a few more in there. So car number 69, which is a Porsche, is driven by Wushel. Bracken number 95 in the orange Ginetta that we saw. Papa Chain number 329 in the McLaren 570S. Spirit in car number 621 is registered with the BMW M4. And Azure Goat will be in car 765 in the Goat Dynamics McLaren 570S. So there we go, that's your Pro in silver. AM is where most of the drivers are, so we've got a brand new driver in with us today. It's Lunatic in car number 8. ZZ will be car number 18, which is the blue Chevrolet Camaro, the only Camaro on the grids for now. We have Ant number 24 in the Aston Martin GT4. We've seen that purple and black one. Mo the Yo is registered car number 35 in the Porsche. Blaze Pine is the purple Ginetta we've seen in car number 37. Czar entered in the blue and black Valentino Rossi Monster Energy Porsche 718 in car number 46. RPM guys, car number 77, who we haven't quite seen yet, but he is, if I check quickly, in fact the only KTM on the track, followed by Avalanche, car number 84 in the only Mercedes to enter the championship this time round. Car number 271 we've seen there, Kai Lazuli in the nice green and black Porsche. And car number 307 is Kryptonite, also entering in a Porsche. And the fact that some of the drivers have started to leave the track now tells me that we are in fact ready to go to the main practice server, of which there'll be a brief pause whilst I go and get a drink and everything. So bear with me, everyone. So bear with me, everyone. So bear with me, everyone. So bear with me, everyone.
Green light, give us all you can.
And here we go for the practice that is 20 minutes long. We have some more drivers on the grid now. So we've got Fez Fox there, car number 86, and the McLaren that was announced. And there she finally is. We finally get to see the car that is Wushel. Car number 69, Also in Goat Wolf, a good team there. And some nice stickers dotted about the car, you can see now. Fantastic use of the LGBTQIA plus flag and the transgender flag, so definitely supporting them. Also doner kebabs, because why not? Cannot beat a doner kebab. Fantastic pink and white car that is. Pink and white, obviously, not obviously, for those that don't watch, pink and white is definitely a colour choice by Wushel that she will use in all of the cars that she races in. She's only really ever seen in a Porsche, apart from the RCI 12 Hours of Bathurst when she raced in an Aston Martin and did very well. Another new driver to the grid, car 329 Papa Chain in a McLaren there, just heading out to do some trial laps as 16 minutes ticks down. And here's the blue Camaro that we haven't got to see yet, but here we are. This is Zizi in the blue Chevrolet Camaro number 18. Look at that car, using one of the in-game custom liveries now. What a chunk of a car it is. They look like they're getting ready to go out, so we'll leave them to it. Leave them to get on the way. Bracken in the orange Ginetta, and there we have Blaze Pine again in very nice purple number 37 Ginetta GT4 there. It's their first time racing properly with us in Simufur event, so we wish them all the best. All the best when it comes to this sprint series today. We're still waiting for a few to join. We have Spirit in the server, number 10 currently, number 621. May or may not see them in the pits. They may be out at the moment. In fact, rather than just sitting here, let's go and see if we can find... Here we go. So here's Spirit in car number 10, the BMW. Very nice, simple but elegant livery, in my opinion. So managing to catch a few drivers there. Tell you what, we'll take some onboard time now. Oh, when we get there. Still getting there. There he is, Scanny. There they are, excuse me, Scanny. So sit and watch a couple of onboard laps of Zolder in the Aston Martin GT4 with Scanny, and I'll be right back, guys. Enjoy. And I'm back. Hopefully you enjoyed. Good couple of laps there from Scani, as they currently run in 4th place on the grid. We have Blade Wolf currently holding 1st place with a 1:37. Papa Chain holding 2nd place, currently top of AM class. And of course Fez Fox will be in 3rd place for now. The times between P1, 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 are very close to one another. We have 6 minutes of practice to go. That is 6 minutes left for these drivers to perfect their cars before we go into the first part of the battle, which is the GT4 Championship. Qualifying starts in 6 minutes, guys. I suggest grab drinks, grab popcorn. We're in for an exciting one, as we have 16 drivers on the grid waiting to claim that title. So 3 minutes left of free practice. The only practice session these drivers get between the 2 qualifying sessions, before we then move on to qualifying number 1. Just going through them in a very, very weird. So anyway, let's take a look at some of the drivers out on the grid. We've got Fez Fox in car 86, currently running in P3 there. Very bright McLaren indeed. Spirit comes across the line just there. Scani. Oh, bit of a net issue there. It's still not going through these in any particular order, so you'll have to bear with me Tell you what, we'll go with Spirit since we got there first. We've seen what Scani looks like. Anyway, here's Spirit in P4 currently in the BMW. Final few laps to get in there before we go into the main qualifying session. You can see another driver there, RPM guy in his KTM. We did announce him earlier. We'll get a quick look at him again, actually, while Spirit comes into view. Take another closer look at him a bit later. So here we're going to come to next. RPM guy. There we go. How fortunate is that? Excuse the camera angles a minute, but we'll get a better look at the KTM. So the one and only KTM in the GT4 Championship, driven by this guy. Currently running in P16 until he puts in a lap. I believe he's on a lap at the moment, or trying for one. Or maybe he's on an out lap. Probably just to get some rubber in the tyres and some short practice at the track before we go into qualifying, which is just 40 seconds away. He moves to P15. We have Lunatic still yet to put in a lap for... Oh no, wait, there they go. Lunatic P7, Azure Goat P6. Who have we not seen yet? We've got Zolder in P11 who has been out to do a quick run. Lazuli in P12 who again has been out to do a couple of runs. They're just sitting and waiting now for the qualifying session to start. Very colourful grid we've got this season. We've got Wushel, car 69, going across the line there to push Scani down in the 6th place. I wonder if Scani will be slightly raging. Probably not, because they're a lovely person. They don't generally get angry, or so I know. Anyway. So a little bit of a wait time for the rest of the cars to get across the finish line. There we go, and the session is now ended, and we go straight into qualifying. So, a couple of drivers now out on the grid now. Everybody's still waiting in the pits at the moment. Got Blade, Fez and Lazuli out on track first. Got Fez Fox and Lazuli lining up behind Blade there, warming up their tyres good and proper to set a good lap. Blade Wolf skipping over that first chicane there. That wouldn't have done him any favours. I'm just thankful that they're not on a qualifying lap. Going to wait for them to round the final couple of corners now before we go on to an onboard view of their flying lap. You can see Fez Fox and Lazuli there putting a little bit of a space between each other to allow for as much clean air as possible to set the fastest lap possible. Very good tactic by drivers, very respectful from drivers as well. Just 5.5 minutes left of qualifying, so hopefully we'll get everyone out as soon as possible. Blaze Pine has just left the pits there. Probably a good idea coming out behind the rest of the pack. Anyway, we go on board now with Blade Wolf, who's just about to start a flying lap in car number 142 Aston Martin. So here we go. Across the start line, they head down the start finish straight onto turn 1 now. Does that work for them? It sort of does. They've caught the car, they didn't skid off, which is good. They go into turn 2 now to see how he handles it. So a lot of lifting and half acceleration going through the corner, you can see that there. Full flat to the floor coming out on this corner now. I wonder what they'll do with this one. So as you can see there, you can change between gas and brakes going after that it works quite well lifted. Anyway, onto the long straight now before the first hard chicane. Skips nicely over that curb. Onto the second harder chicane in my opinion. It's a very hard right left here. Smoothly done now as they head slightly left now towards the hairpin turn. A little bit wide there. Hopefully we'll see a slight improvement on that in their next lap. That's 3 minutes left to go. Come across the line to do a 1:38, followed by Fez Fox, who goes straight into first place with a 1:37. Ant goes into P2, Spirit goes into P3. What can Blade do to catch up with them? Lazuli sits in P5 comfortably and Czar's in P6. And not for too long as Papa Chain pushes into P1, pushing Fez, Scanny, Ant, Spirit and Blade down by 1, as well as Lazuli. Deary me, it's warming up now. Wushel in P3 goes... Wushel in car 69 goes P3, but it's beat by Lunatic in car 8, who goes to P3, pushing Wushel down to P4. What an exciting qualifying it is so far. RPM guys still sat in the pits with a 0 Avalanche and Blade currently out trying to set laps at the moment. Flicking through cars is merely impossible using ACC's system, so do stick with me. There we go, we'll go with Wushel, again, who's currently on another lap. You can see by the green delta in the top left, she's beating her time currently, but what can she do to push it even further? We'll stick with her for the last 2 minutes of this qualifying session now. Doing very well indeed, heading up to that hard chicane. Very smooth through there, and you can see she's just about lost a little bit of time there, but still green so far. She powers down to the hairpin now. Meanwhile, back up at the front of the grid, Fez Fox has pushed back into P1, pushing Papa Chain down into P2 and Blade to P3 so far. Wushel still holding on to P6 with Scanny in P7. However, Spirit has pushed up to P5, pushing Wushel down to P7 and Lunatic down to P6. There is not much between Lunatic and Wushel. Look at the times on the board. Wushel comes across the line now, doing very well there, and she goes to P3. What a hell of a lap. Well done, Wushel. Pushing Scanny down to P5 now as Lunatic pushes up to P2 ahead of Papa Chain and between him and Fez Fox. What is going on with this qualifying? What an exciting qualifying it has been so far. Meanwhile, we have RPM guys still yet to set a lap. Unsure what's happening there, but anyway, 40 seconds left of the qualifying session before we're going to race 1. Your top 3 so far are Fez Fox, Lunatic and Papa Chain. Fez Fox obviously pro class, Lunatic is AM class, believe it or not, as well as Papa Chain. So 2 fantastic drivers in the AM class currently. Meanwhile, we have Wushel, Scanny and Blade Wolf in P4, 5 and 6. Papa Chain again on a flying lap. You can see in the top left there, they're really doing well to catch up to their time. We'll see what happens then. There's 10 seconds left on the timer. All drivers will be going absolute balls to the wall for this one. That's it, max wait time counting down there, allowing all the drivers to finish the lap that they're currently on. Papa Chain comes over the line to go into P2, pushing Lunatic out of P3 so far. And Scanny will push Lunatic even further down into P4 as they cross the line in P3. Meanwhile, Lunatic has decided not to go on another lap and has gone back into the pits. So there we have it, guys. We can just go quickly to the garage now, and you can see your drivers, 16 of them in the order that they sit in. So P1 is Fez Fox and P2 will be Papa Chain, both sporting a McLaren 570 GT4. Scanny will take P3. And just further down the grid, we've got Lunatic and Wushel who will start P4 and 5 together on the grid. Blade Wolf will start in P6, followed by Ant in P7. Spirit in the BMW will start in P8. Bracken will be in the one of the Genettas in P9. We've got a Zero Goat in P10 and currently our newest silver driver in the McLaren 570S GT4. Zara, Lazuli and Blaze will take 11th, 12th and 13th. Blaze Pine being the second of the only two Genettas on the grid today. ZZ in P15 with the only Chevrolet Camaro today, and then RPM Guy in P16 with, again, the only KTM Expo on the track today. So, very good lineup. As I said earlier, very colourful grid to watch out for. And there's the man that will start at the front of the grid. Fez Fox, car number 86. Couple of the drivers having a bit of a discussion before we get on the way. So we've got 3 minutes or 2 minutes 50 now till we go for green light on formation lap before we go into the first race. Nice cracking lineup of the grid there. All the names you can see there. We'll take a walk. 1 minute. Now we'll take a walk down the grid there. So 1 and 2 is Fez and Papa Chain. 3 and 4 is Scanny and Lunatic. 5 and 6 is Wursho and Blade. 7 and 8 is Ant and Spirit there. You can see 9 and 10 is Azure and Bracken. 11 and 12 will be Zar and Kai Lazuli. 13th and 14th are Blaze Pine and Avalanche. 15th and 16th are ZZ and RPM Guy. They complete the grid of tonight's race. Just a minute and a half left now until we go live for the start of the race. Welcome to the stream if you've just joined us. We are a minute away from the beginning of the race. This is race 1 of 2. Sprint races, both 20 minutes each, no pit stops. Just all the drivers going as fast as they physically can to do the best they can to get the championship. Going to try something new tonight. We're going to try following them from the free cam, at least just for the first bit. A few drivers letting each other know that they're definitely there and mean business with one another. Say hello to YouTube drivers if you can hear me. And off we go for a formation lap then. So this is a single file formation lap, allowing the cars the chance to warm up their tyres before we go into the race. Everybody gets away nice and cleanly here. We'll speed up a little bit now. Catch up to the front of the grid again. So here he is, the man, Fez Fox, as he leads the formation lap now. There's a zero goat there, hoping to have much fortune in this series. Oops, goodness. See all the cars in a bit of a sidewind there, trying to get the absolute most out of their tyres. So here we go then, up the hairpin. So the final couple of corners before the start finish straight. Cars will probably be told in a minute to go in double file. Yes, they go. Here they go now. So we're going to speed along to the start finish straight and wait for them now. And here they go. This is it, guys. The round 1 of the GT4 Championship for Simufur starts any minute now. And Fez Fox will lead the way. And it is green light.
Green light, give it all you can.
And away the drivers go, cleanly off the grid so far as they head down to P1 now. Corner 1. Goes relatively smoothly for everyone. A little bit wide running there from Avalanche with RPM guy who will follow them around. Meanwhile we have Papa Chain and Fez Fox in 1 and 2. Scanny and Lunatic go side by side, followed very closely by Wushel there. Spirit and Blade Wolf again racing side by side with one another. Spirit goes a little bit wide, allowing Bracken to catch up with him. Azure and Ant will go side by side as well. Quite a lot of exciting racing so far. These two are following each other down to the very last minute, it seems. We've got Zar getting in amongst them now in the Porsche. Come to the hard chicane now. A couple of people just about make it through there. Zar just about goes wide, allowing Blaze Pine to catch up. Avalanche has gone wide and has lost position. RPM guy will slowly take up the rear now, so we'll get ahead of the group now. We'll go through the second chicane. Very close it is to one another as well. Blaze and Zar come through the second chicane almost 2x2, but they just don't quite make it. Followed by Avalanche and RPM guy. Meanwhile, the top three are already nearly finished the track. It is Fezfox, Papa Chain, Lunatic and Wushu in 1, 2, 3 and 4. Followed by Scanny in P5. Blade and Spirit will be P6 and 7. Ant and Bracken are fighting for position now coming into this corner. Very clean lap one so far, no incidents, which is fantastic. Blade Wolf and Spirit are again 2x2 coming into the first corner. Very clean race so far. There's Spirit and Blade Wolf. Meanwhile, the two front runners, Fezfox and Papa Chain, are well away with it. You can see him there. There he is. Fezfox coming again into the hard chicane. Papa Chain 1.5 seconds behind him, with Wushu and Lunatic chasing one another down for P3 and P4. Scanny following close by in P5 there in the black and red Aston Martin. Got the Zuli, and the Zuli seems to have taken Zar there as well. We'll see what Zar can do to catch back up with them. It's an interesting overtake. Let's see if we can find the replay of that one. Or will it all go tits up? So here they go then, catching up on ZZ in the Camaro. They go for it. Oh, what a turn. ZZ not doing much to defend there. So maybe it was ZZ that, yeah, it was ZZ that Kai took for position there, my bad. But Zar is in fact the next one. Meanwhile, we have Wushu and Lunatic who are fighting for P3. Wushu's just gained it. Lunatic a little bit far behind there. It'd be interesting to see. Let's see what they did. Whoops! Let's see what they did to one another. Let's have a look now. And that overtakes. It did end up leaving. Luna back at the back a little bit. So we'll have a look there. We'll see what's going on. Where is the... Oh. So here we go. It was at the start of lap 2 there. We didn't see it, but here she is closing in on Lunatic now. And what happens? Oh no, Lunatic goes a little bit wide, allowing Wushu to gain entry to P3 there. There you go. That's how it happened, guys. And we're back with Wushu now as she catches up to Papa Chain. Fezfox, meanwhile, holds on to first place. Wushu is really pushing hard now. Got Lunatic there who hopefully can catch back up to Wushu. He's got 14 minutes to do it. Scanny and P5 who goes side by side with Spirit through turn 1 there. Spirit gains the advantage in the BMW. Wonder if Scanny can catch back up in the time that they've got left. And you can see there Blade Wolf in P7. Looking hopefully to catch Scanny back up now. Meanwhile, we have a Zergo in P8. Our newest member to the silver class. Whoop! Spirit wiggles a bit there. I wonder if Scanny will catching back up. Let's have a look. He's certainly got Blade Wolf chasing Scanny here now. Look at how close he's got it. Since we last left these two, we'll continue to watch them now. Now it seems like Scanny is in fact opening the gap up on Blade Wolf. So anyway, we've got a 0 go in P8. Nice little gap there. Nobody really catching him up. Bit of a muddle down here from P9 onwards. Got Bracken in 9 and in 10. Blaze is happily sat in 11th place. Meanwhile with Zar and Lazuli in P12 and 13. Lazuli doing well to catch up with Zar now. Zar gives a little bit of a wiggle there. The two of them come side by side going through the start-finish straight together. We'll see what they can do through the first corner. And Kai moves to take the defensive line and gets a position, but they run extremely wide. Oh no, they run wide. And Zara takes the position back, hopefully to open up a gap to the two of them. Up at the front of the grids, or up in 10th place rather, we've got Bracken battling for P9 now. Ant is slowly but surely gaining on the Janetta ahead of him. See what happens for the hard chicane. Ant looks as if he's having a look to take the corner, but doesn't, and the Janetta goes flying over the first curve, but still holds on to the position. The Aston Martin doesn't quite get... Oh, and we've had an off. Who's that? That is Blaze Pine that has gone off. We also seem to have had an off on the start-finish straight. That might have been RPM guy. But at least they're back on track now. Meanwhile, we have Fez Fox still holding the lead, but Wusho is doing her very best to gain on him. 1.4 seconds is the gap between Fez and Wusho now. And down in P3 we have Papa Chain, who's just 1.6 seconds from the top now. Lunatic falling a little bit behind to the top 3. But maintaining a gap to Spirit in P5 there, so hopefully they can hold on to P4. It's a good place to be. Back with these two again, Scanny and Blade Wolf fighting for P6 as it is. Two Aston Martin drivers, very passionate about the Aston Martin they are as well. Both know what they're doing in terms of setup. Got Spirit there ever so slightly catching up with Lunatic. Bouncing that BMW over the first chicane like it doesn't exist. BMW almost doesn't move there. That's quite a chunk of a car. So here we go then. Spirit is ever so slightly closing that door constantly to Lunatic. A Lunatic driving like a bat out of hell. You can see it in some of the corners he's taken. We'll see what happens there. Spirit can finally catch Lunatic. 10 minutes left of the race, everyone. 10 minutes left of the race. Let's go a little bit further up the grids here. The grid's slowly but surely closing out. In fact, Fez Fox and Wusho are the only ones that are out there. Meanwhile, Fez Fox comes across blue flags, RPM. So this could be a bit of a tricky situation for both of them. Wusho's next to take the blue flags. See if she can get through that traffic cleanly. And hopefully it doesn't allow Papa Chain to close the gap. Very well behaved from the back marker there as he moves over to allow Wusho. And slightly gets in the way. Slightly gets in the way of Papa Chain, but gets out the way in due time. Lunatic is the next one to come through on the blue flags. We'll see what... Oh, they touch slightly. There's a bit of a bash. Spirit comes drifting through the first chicane behind Lunatic there, and is the next one to get past the blue flags guy. He has done it in a good, safe manner. That's fantastic. The back marker there being very, very well behaved for our drivers as the Spirit continues to chase after Lunatic now. Zergo there holding P8. Just about makes it past the back marker in chase of Blade Wolf. Eight minutes left of the race. What a hell of a race it's been for a 20-minute race. There's been a lot of action here in these last 20 minutes than what I've seen in an hour GT3 race. It's nuts, guys. It is absolutely nuts. Meanwhile, the guy out in front, Fezfox, cannot quite sit back and relax just yet, as Wusho is very much not letting him breathe, followed by Papa Chain in P3 there. Lunatic still doing well to hold on to P4 from Spirit in P5. As you can see in the delta down in the bottom left there, Wusho is slowly but surely closing the gap. Let's hope she can continue to close the gap. There are 7 minutes left of this race. Wusho could very much win the first race of the first round of the GT4 Championship. Meanwhile, Papa Chain dropping back a little bit there. Lunatic holding on to his position in P4, with Spirit still chasing very much so in P5. Oh, there seems to have been a yellow flag somewhere on the grid. Car number 77, RPM guy, seems to have lost it. Alright, well that doesn't work apparently. RPM guy seems to have lost it and come off the track. They're slowly but surely going to get back on the track. Hopefully they do it in a safe enough manner. What is he doing? He's almost facing the wrong way. He's reversing the gravel trap now. Well, is he going the right way? Anyway, we're back to the battle between Fez and Wusho. Still closing the gap, guys. Still closing the gap. Papa Chain doing his best to keep that gap between him and Wusho shut. Meanwhile, Spirit is coming ever so closer to Lunatic now in the Porsche. You can see the gap has been closed significantly. Wonder if Lunatic can hold on. He only has to hold on for 5 more minutes. The Spirit is less than a second away now in the BMW GT4. Really making that BMW work for him. Let's have a look at this little bunch down here. We've got Scanning Blade and Azurgo all coming together. Little trio of people there coming through, sticking very close to one another. Wonder what they can do within 5 minutes of each other. We've got a little bit of a gap going on, however. It's these three that have stuck together for most of the race. Meanwhile, again, Spirit is coming very much closer to Lunatic. We're going to stick to them for now because that gap has just continued to close. Lunatic goes a little bit wide there, allowing Spirit to come through a lot more. Let's watch the onboard for Spirit now. Look how close he is to Lunatic. Lunatic bouncing that Porsche off the chicane there. Porsche almost not liking it, and then of course the BMW just eats it like a hungry hippo. Watch them both go through this chicane. Together they go through. Look how close Spirit is getting now. They're nearly bumper to bumper with one another. Got another yellow flag in the race. We'll come back to that in just a second. We'll see who's going on. Car number 95. That's Bracken who's lost it. I wonder what's happened there. See what happened, caught the yellow flag there, so he was in P10. Doing very well to catch up on Anne, or at least trying to close the gap. Just going to rush this along a little bit, guys, see what went wrong there. Strange place to lose it there. Oof! Into the wall he goes. Never mind. Back to Spirit and Lunatic though. Everyone else has pretty much stayed where they are. The only thing that looks like it's going to change within the next 2 minutes is this race going on here. Spirit gets a better corner out of there as well. He's going along side by side with Lunatic. There he goes for the overtake. Two of them sticking to their guns now as they come into the corner. Oh! The Spirit just about gets ahead. But Lunatic is very soon to come side by side with him, and Spirit's got the position. So Spirit takes P4, excuse me, off of Lunatic with 1 minute and 40 seconds left of the race to go. There's been another yellow flag, guys. Another yellow flag. Who is it now? Car number 77. It's RPM guy who's lost the car again. Unfortunately, they're going to look at rejoining the track. Oh, that's not very... Oh, I wonder if all the cars can miss him. He's got a bit of a gap to get on. Hopefully he gets on okay. Anyway, so Spirit takes P4 off of Lunatic, who's going to chase now. 1 minute left of the race. And we have Fez Fox in P1, holding a steady gap of 1.5 seconds to Wusho in P2. Papa Chain is then 2 seconds off in P3. Spirit is in P4 now after pushing Lunatic 4 seconds away. Luna is only 1.2 seconds behind Spirit. Scammy is in P6 with the Aston Martin. Seems to be gaining time on Blade Wolf there. Azur's done well to hold P8 for the race. Can't quite build the gap up. Anyway, he's got quite a bit of a gap to P9, which is Ant in the Aston Martin.
Leaders on final lap now.
As Fez Fox crosses the line there, Zar will take the P10 position, and Lazuli is pushing Zar in P11. There we have Blaze Pine, one of our newest guys, in P12 there. Done very well so far. And then Avalanche P13, P14 will be ZZ in the blue Camaro. P15 is now Bracken in the Ginetta. And then we have RPM guy in P16. So stick with Fez now on the final lap. There's 1, 2 and 3 come through relatively close together. And here we go, onto the hairpin, round in the final couple of corners, and he's held a solid P1 position from the minute he put himself there in qualifying to the start of the race, right up to the end of this first race now as we get another yellow flag. But Fez Fox comes onto the start-finish straight to take P1 of the first 20 minutes of GT4 Zolder. Fantastic job from Fez Fox. Very well chased by Wusho and Papa Chain in P2 and 3 there. Fantastic finish for Wusho as Fez Fox does a celebratory donut into the wall and plants it. Spirit zooms round in P4, followed by Luna in P5. Scanny will take P6. Blade Wolf P7. Azure comes across the line in P8. Ant is the next one across the line now in the Aston Martin. Had a bit of a race on his own there in P9. Zar will take P10 with Lazuli very close behind him. I don't think there's much Lazuli can do this time to take the flag, but they will try again. There we have it, guys. Zar and Lazuli come home to take 10 and 11. As Blaze Pine rounds the final corner of his first race with us to take P12. Then we've got Avalanche there coming on in the Merc to take P13. Bracken coming home in P14 with that battered Janetta after his crash. P15 will be ZZ in the Camaro. It looks like he's had a bit of a scuff or two. He'll be happy to get the car home now. And there you have it, guys. That is your first 20 minutes of GT4 Zolder. We move in a minute to another 10-minute qualifying session. Of which case, I would say, by all means, feel free to stick with it. I'm going to stick with the car for that 10 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it is. Whilst I go and have a quick break, by all means, feel free to go and grab a drink and a snack and come and see who starts the next grid. It could be a very, very different startup. Well done to all drivers involved so far. It's a relatively clean race there. Right, guys, be right back.
green light, green light. Go, go, go.
So what we'll do is, rather than watching individual cars, I'm going to leave. What we'll do there is we'll leave the timetable up for you guys to watch, but I will be right back very quickly. just as qualifying comes to an end, you can see there's a very different setup of times there. Fez Fox will still take P1, Wushel this time takes P2, and Spirit will be P3 with Blade Wolf in P4. Papa Chain in P5, Lunatic will be P6, Scanny will be P7, Azure comes again into 8th place, with Ant following in 9th. Bracken and Zara will be 10th and 11th, with Lazuli again taking P12, Blaze Pine holding on to P13, ZZ will take P14, and Avalanche, I believe, didn't go out and qualify. Looking at AM so far, due to so AM so far, Lunatic will be the man who takes P1, but AM and Silver will be Wushel. So due to go live in 30 seconds time to the start-finish grid. I believe the KTM that was with us before has in fact retired due to mechanical issues, so we won't be seeing the KTM next race. You could see the mechanical issues they were having through the last half of the first race. It's unfortunate for them, but hopefully they'll be back next week. Where are you going? It's the end of qualifying. Where are you going? Oh, okay, they're coming into their garage. I thought they'd left their garage to come and park conveniently next to Wushel. So here we go, again on the grid. 3 minutes countdown until our formation lap. Oops. And here we can see a very different grid order. Now we'll go through it slowly. So P1 and 2 are Fez and Wushel. P3 and 4 this time are Blade Wolf and Spirit. 5 and 6 are Papa Chain and Lunatic. Scanny and Azure Goat will make up P7 and 8. Ant and Zar will make up P9 and 10. 11 and 12 are Bracken and Lazuli. 13th and 14th are Blaze and Avalanche. And Zar will take P15 in the blue Camaro. So one final. Let's see if we can get everyone to give us a digital wave to the YouTube channel before we start on this final round in Zolder. Couple of drivers responding. They're giving us a bit of a wave before we go on for the final drive. Followed by a swift reminder, of course, no tax chat during the race. So we're ready to go again in 40 seconds. In 30 seconds you'll start to hear the engines come to life once more for round 2 at the GT4 Zolder round. Fez Fox will start in P1 with Wushel very much hot on his tail in P2 this time round. Let's see how that goes for them. We've also got Spirit up in the mix as well. So here we go then for a formation lap. Just like the last one, stay in single file. Fez Fox really spinning up his tyres to get them warm there. Right in the brake as well. So those tyres will be super sticky when he comes across the start line, which is what will get him the best advantage over Wushel. So cars will start to line up in 1 and 2 again. As they come across the start finish straight, we'll wait for them, of course we will. See what happens on this first corner. This is where usually the first bit of action happens. They're coming close to the start finish line now. It's going to be green light in 3, 2, 1.
Green light. Go,
and
go,
away
go.
they go for the final round of Zolder tonight. Fez Fox coming across Wushel. Here we go then. Relatively clean getaway for everyone. Spirit has managed to take Wushel. Blade Wolf goes in for a move there. Poor Wushel didn't quite get the start she wanted on that one. We've got Lunatic very closely chasing Wushel. Meanwhile, down there you've got Zar moving, pushing to make a move on Ant now. He does get a cleaner corner. Blaze will then go on his right side to try and take. Oh, doesn't quite get there. But meanwhile, Blaze will not give up, chasing Ant down. Zar pushes to get closer to Scanny now as Ant pushes closer to get to Zara. Let's go back up the grid a little bit. Azure has managed to make P7 this time round. Papa Chain will be P6. P5 will be Lunatic, who's very closely chasing Blade Wolf. Meanwhile, Wushu is beginning to open a bit of a gap up to Blade Wolf. Can she close the gap to Spirit? She's less than a second away from him. And at the same time, Spirit is less than a second away from Fezfox, pushing hard for that P1. Come on, Spirit, let's see if you can make it. There's only 18 minutes left of this race to go. Spirit is really trying hard for this. Less than half a second splits him and Fezfox now as they come through the first corner together. Come back to them a little bit later. Wushu is very much still in the mix, as well as Blade Wolf. Papa Chain is catching up to Lunatic, as hopefully Lunatic can hold on to P5. Azure Goat doing very well to hold P7 now, but is chasing the two ahead of him, less than a second away from the two of them. Rest of the grid there getting very cleanly through. Zara moving to make another move on Ant. He does get side by side in the chicane, and he gets a very clean corner through the hard chicane there. Ant is very much now side by side with him. Done very well to get cleanly out that corner. I wonder if Blaze Pine will come and have a go now. Meanwhile, Lazuli and Bracken are sitting back and eating the popcorn, waiting for it to happen. They come together. Zara gets pushed off the track, but is given the position back by Ant, which is a fantastic move of sportsmanship. However, it has closed the door to Blaze Pine, who will push that Ginetta as hard as he physically can to take the Aston Martin in P10, hopefully gaining him some points. Meanwhile, Lazuli, Bracken and Zizi will keep a strong eye on that there, with Avalanche following behind and hopefully to make up some gaps soon. Zara and Ant go again side by side with one another, coming up to the other chicane now. Oh, and it's Ant that this time gets the better position. Blaze takes the advantage of it. It's still very close on Ant now. What am I doing? Let's have a look at it from Blaze's point of view. He's going to go round. Oh, attempted an outside move on Ant there, but has allowed Zara to catch back up with him again. But he holds on to the position and defends well from Zara, but Zara is very much hot on that bumper. Meanwhile, you have Bracken in the background there, looking for any one of these guys to mess up now to take advantage of at least 3 positions. Come back to those guys a bit later. Slightly further down the grid, we've got ZZ and Lazuli, who will hopefully be fighting one another soon. Avalanche is very slowly closing the gap to them, so maybe he'll be looking to take a position if one of these two fails. There he is in his AMG there. Coming back to the front of the grids, we've got Fezfox in a clean first place. Now 1.5 seconds up on Spirit. Wushu is less than a second. She moves around the outside, and it doesn't quite happen. Spirit holds on to the position there. Wushu has still got 15 minutes to try that again. Wushu very much letting Spirit know that she is still there and she still means business. Blade Wolf, meanwhile, has dropped a little bit to Wushu, but will close the gap sooner or later. And Lunatic is still holding on to P5 with Papa Chain and Azure chasing now, with Scanny not far behind them. Scanny only in P8 this time round, but pushing ever so slightly to get up to Azure Goat as they round turn one. All 4 of them get out that corner very well. And it seems like Zar has lost the position to Ant and is now in the midst of losing the position to Bracken. We'll see if Zar can hold on. It seems somewhat Blaze Pine has lost out there as well. I thought he'd made a bit of a move up the field, but it's Bracken and the Ginetta that's looking to make the move now. Bumper to bumper with Zara to go into the chicane. Doesn't quite work out for Bracken there, but the gap still hasn't quite opened up yet. Meanwhile, back down in 13th and 14th, we have ZZ and Avalanche, who's actually taken Lazuli. Lazuli must have had an off somewhere on the track, but Avalanche now holds P14. So very well done on him. ZZ will be P13th with a slight gap opening up. Blaze Pine is... Oh, that was a slight skid off there, I think, from ZZ, allowing Avalanche to push up a bit more. Blaze Pine still holding on to the back of Bracken and Czar as they fight it out now. Meanwhile, just up ahead, and opened himself a nice gap there, as Lunatic has in fact lost the position to Scanny. Scanny ever so slightly making his way up the grid now. Azurgo is the next target, who's also targeting Papa Chain in P5 now. Everything to play for here. Azur's had a better race this time round, at least 2 positions higher than where he finished in race number 1. So we'll look to see what can happen between these two. Azur really going for it. That might have been a track limit warning. That hasn't done much for the McLaren though. That's allowed Papa Chain to open the gap, and Scanny now will close the gap. And here he comes, Scanny absolutely thundering down in the Aston Martin on the McLaren. We'll come back to those two later. Meanwhile, up at the front, Fez Fox has now gained a comfortable gap on Spirit. However, Wusho is again looking to take the position off of Spirit. She's letting him know she's there. She's closing the door ever so slightly. There's less than a second that split them. Spirit is really being kept on his toes now as Wusho makes her way across the start-finish grid in the number 69 Porsche with Blade Wolf just in the background there. So there's a lot to play for. There's just 11.5 minutes left of this second race. It's been a fantastic race so far. Blade Wolf there in a little race of his own, comfortably in P4 with a nice gap to P5 and a slight gap closing to P3. So I can safely say, unless he makes a mistake, he could end up finishing in P4, but hopefully he manages to push to fight for a top 3 position. Wusho has very slightly closed the gap on Spirit, just ahead of them. And at the same time, Spirit is very much slightly closed the gap on Fez Fox, who is in P1 and fighting to stay ahead. Let's go further down the grid now. We've got Blade Wolf in his own position. Meanwhile, we've got Azurgo and Scanny, who seem to be coming closer and closer and closer. Scanny is working hard to close that gap on Azur. Wonder who got the better exit out of that corner. It seems that Azurgo so far. There's still another chicane to go round. Scanny is bumper to bumper at the moment with Azur. See what the braking can do, and unfortunately Scanny doesn't make it past him this time round. Meanwhile, Lunatic in a nice race of his own there, a nice gap to P9, and slowly but surely keeping the gap closed to P7
through, not over yet.
as we hit the halfway mark. And will comfortably hold on to P9 if he can just hold on. Meanwhile, Czar, Bracken and Blaze are in a fight for P10 at the moment. Got 2 Janettas and a Porsche in that fight, so we'll see what can happen there. Both of them make it through turn 1 extremely cleanly. Let's go slightly further back. So we've got Lazuli here in P13th with ZZ less than a second behind in P14, and Avalanche back down in P15 now. I imagine Avalanche must have had a slight off there. Anyway, Fez has opened the gap up to Spirit by about 3 seconds now, and Spirit has opened the gap to Wusho by about 1.3 seconds now, so Spirit beginning to get away there. which is good for him. He can slightly relax and not have to work the car so hard, but he'll probably still work it anyway, because there is still a Fez Fox and a P1 title to gain out of this with just 8 minutes to go in the race now. Meanwhile, Papa Chain has closed the gap to Blade Wolf. Probably going to see some turn 1 action here as Papa Chain moves to go side by side with Blade Wolf on start-finish straight. Will Papa Chain get the undercut? He doesn't slightly get it. Oh no, he doesn't. Blade Wolf getting the better corner then. Papa Chain still very much on it though, looking to close that gap. Meanwhile, we have a Zero Goat and Scanny who are fighting at the back for P6 at the moment. The Zero Goat doing well to hold on. Scanny less than a second away from him. Have a look slightly further down the grid. The Lunatic in P8 then, only 1.8 seconds off of Scanny. It looks like Scanny's going to try and make another move. Yeah, maybe not just yet. So Lunatic comfortably holding on to P8 there with a nice gap to P9. And only these two in front of them. If it goes wrong for these two in front of him, he could pick up a couple of positions still. And holding a very nice margin to the rest of the group behind him. Meanwhile, Brackenzar and Blaze are less than a second from one another. This is a three-way fight and it's turn 1. All three of them go through very, very cleanly. It's fantastic racing from all of them. Blaze Pine getting ever so slightly closer to Zar now. As he holds on to what could be an inside line. He's going to make the move. He doesn't quite make it through. Blaze giving it absolute beans as Bracken loses it and loses both positions to Blaze and Zar. Oh no. And Lazuli, seeing the yellow flag, will no doubt start pushing harder. And Zar seems to have moved over to let Blaze out the way. So Blaze gaining full advantage, taking P10 now. Bracken ever so slowly catching up on Zar. I wonder if that was Zar just teasing Blaze with a P10. I wonder if he'll move and take it back in the last minute or two of the race. Bracken running slightly wide there. So here's our race leader then, 5 minutes left of round 2. Very comfortably 3.1 seconds out ahead of Spirit now, who's 1.2 seconds ahead of Wushel. Wushel still trying her very best to push that Porsche to get the BMW. So we'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, behind them we've got Blade Wolf in P4, who's being chased still by Papa Chain, so we could see some last minute action from those two. We've got Scanny chasing the Zero Goat now, and it looks like Lunatic's caught up. And unfortunately, you just saw it there. There seems to be an off from Lunatic, so he was doing well to close the gap. However, he's still comfortably got P8, yep, and still 9 seconds away from P9. So now just 3 seconds away from Scania. He'll have to work hard if he wants anything in the last 3 minutes. Scania is continuing to push Azure though, still less than half a second away, but Azure are doing very well to hold on there. Meanwhile, Wushel and Spirit is still very much in the fight. Wushel has closed the gap to 1.1 seconds off of Spirit, so she's not quite given up yet as that Porsche flies through that first chicane. Meanwhile, Bladewell 5 seconds away from Wushel, but having to now defend from Papa Chain on his back, who's now just half a second away from him. And again, we have these two, Scania and Azure. Scania has very much closed the gap again to Azure. It's unfortunate for Scania, he runs a little bit off there, but he does still keep the gap closed. Two minutes left of the race, everything to play for. Azure having a fantastic second race as his first silver driver. Papa Chain goes to make the move on Blade Wolf, but he doesn't quite get it. We'll see if he can come around the inside now of turn 1. Not quite. Will it be turn 2? No, Blade Wolf does in fact hold on, but Papa Chain is now very, very close. So that could make a move any minute now. He is within striking distance. You can see in the background there, Scani's still working to close the gap on Azure. Slight wiggle from Papa Chain there means Blade Wolf for now holds on to the position. We're in the last 53 seconds of the race. Any minute now they'll be getting an announcement that Fez Fox is on the final lap. Meanwhile, up ahead, Wushel is pushed to close the gap on Spirit. She's less than half a second, or just over half a second away now. This could be a very action-packed last lap now. Fez Fox crosses the line.
Leaders on final lap now.
On the final race now. He's had to work quite a bit for this one to keep the 2 second gap from Spirit. Come on, Wushel. Let's see if she can push now. We'll come back to them a bit later. Further down the grid, we've got Blade Wolf holding on to the fight with Papa Chain. Azure Goat still holding on ahead of Scani. They're doing very well on his debut race as a silver driver. Meanwhile, Lunatic has in fact closed the gap a little bit. And is very much on his own here in P9 with an 8 second gap to Lazuli in P10 and a 3 second gap to Lunatic. So he's done very well to hold on to 9th position there and be in the points. Meanwhile, Lazuli is there in P10 with a comfortable gap to P11 and 12. P11 and 12 absolutely fighting now. The two Janettas of the season doing their very best to hold on to their positions or gain from one another. Blaze very much pushing to gain P11 from Bracken. Not giving Bracken any breathing space now. Bracken is having to work hard for this one. And he wiggles. Blaze does in fact get to catch up on him now. They go side by side together. We'll see what happens come the hard chicane. It's Blaze that's ahead. Oh, just squeezed off that corner there by Bracken, but Blaze gets the better exit and now moves around the outside of Bracken to take the position. He's going to try for it again, see if Blaze will go for an undercut or anything on the last chicane. Fez Fox comes round to finish the race. These two are side by side, bumper to bumper. We'll come back to them in a minute. Wushel is in fact still P3, so well done to her. Anyway, it's back to Scania and Azure finishing 6th and 7th, well done to them. Anyway, back to Blaze and Bracken now then for the final couple of corners of the race. Bracken doing his best to hold on to P11 now as they come to the last chicane. Oh, it is down to the last hair with these two, it seems. And it is Bracken that just finishes ahead of Blaze by 0.016 of a second. That is nuts. Zara moves to finish P13th. ZZ comes in at P14. Kai finished in P10. Ant in P9. Luna moved to finish in P8. ZZ there 14th, and Avalanche will make up the 15th position. And that is the final round of Zolder tonight, guys. And so we come to the end of the stream there. What a great opening round it has been. Look at these two sat side by side together, bless them. Two Porsches having a bit of a discussion about how the race went between them. And anyway, that is the end of the stream for round 1 of the Simufur GT4 Championship. I hope you've enjoyed your race as much as I have. It's been very, very action-packed. Very, very action-packed indeed, with plenty of action in both races. Good qualifying from everyone. Relatively clean race, and second race as well. Anyway, I'm going to bring the stream to a close there. Thank you very much for watching, those that did watch. And we hope to see you all next week for the next round, which is in fact Nürburgring. See you all there, guys. Good night.